President Willa was earnest about his high school people. Why is Dillon not earnest today about his high school people? Why he covering up? The first thing Dillon posted in 2004 that he graduated from high
Radio
school
to say
in
that.
Ghana.
You remember there when you were convincing my man, we can't be here, we gotta go, we gotta leave the people in my man, let's try to go. When I received the call that you Costa were coming to leave because the police is getting ready to move in, you were aware that the police were moving in. Every information was getting it. Watch your tape. When you left, I said, Costa, I need to come back. You ever came back? Because you took money. Now what you were telling me, say, don't leave. I told you I was not leaving. You think I'm not credible? Costa, you myself who credible? You're criminal. You myself who credible? You dog like you. You criminal like you. Have I ever resigned from COP? This is my first destination. I can never be a part. I suspended my membership, Mr. Fool, Mr. Dumbheaded man. You got nothing in your head. I suspended my membership. Check the record. And bring one other copy. That is my second time resigning from the COP. I will resign as representative. Show me one copy. Mr. Dumbheaded man, Mr. Blackmailer, criminal that you taking money from government, taking money from everybody to promote them. You think the LeBron trust you? The LeBron trust me, then you, Costa. You know why people come to your place to listen to you? It's because sometimes people want to, if they should come there to listen to you. So that the bigger platform you get, I get a bigger platform. I in Liberia, come. Let's show to our leader who got a bigger platform. You dumb-headed man. Come on.
Today is Friday, folks, and it's the weekend. The weekend starts on today. A very good afternoon and a warm welcome to another edition of the Hard Talk on ABC Radio 105.1, the official voice of Atlantic Broadcasting Corporation, with beaming live and direct from the corner of Brown Buchanan Street, downtown Monrovia. My name is Theo Williams, and my colleague is Anthony J. Van Jondler will bring you this edition of the Hard Talk between 9 to 6. And this edition promises to be great. It promises to be interactive and, of course, entertaining, because we have lots of goodies lined up for you on this lovely Friday in Monrovia. Today is the 7th day of April, AD 2023. Good afternoon from just wherever you are monitoring us. However you're monitoring us, we'd like to say welcome. Thanks for being with us. This is the Hard Talk. We'll bring you motivational quotes and our wise word for the day very shortly. Following that, we will talk about drug abuse and the use of narcotic substances in our country. You know, our young people nowadays are deeply involved with the usage of bad substances, and it's causing serious harm to our society. And of course, we all need to get involved and talk about the issue of drug in our country. And then at 5, we'll take a musical brief. Following the musical brief out, we will play host to security expert, former head of operations of the Liberia National Police, and Ibrahim Kurman. He will join us on the second and final lap of the show as we talk about public safety. We'll talk about security and elections. We'll also talk about the prevention of crimes in the society. It's going to be a fascinating discussion when we will be hopefully joined by Mr. Ibrahim Kurman, a security expert and former 102 of the Liberia National Police. So that's the lineup for you. Like I told you, invite a friend to come on as we drive you between 9 to 6 with lots of interesting developments of the day. Antonin, good afternoon. It's a pleasure. Good to be here. It's on a Friday. And good to see you, man. How are you today?
Well, I'm pretty good, too. It's very quiet and good Friday. As a matter of fact, you and I know that this Friday is celebrated by Christians across the world. And it also happens to be the birthday of two of our colleagues here, the director of program, Denise Nason, and Famata Willie.
Yeah.
Two of them currently are celebrating their birthday. You and I know what is ongoing in the building today. But as said this morning by the head of this institution, that all programs are dedicated to the birthday celebrants of the
Yes.
day.
Yeah.
And so it's a wonderful one. We're always happy to be here to do what we love doing best. So, yes, it's another time. Let's move for our wise voice, as we want to say, and move for our wise voice very quickly. This one, it says, never stop learning because life never stops teaching. Never stop learning because life never stops teaching. And many persons say every step in life is a lesson learned. So that's what we have today for our last words.
Great. Never stop learning because life never stops teaching.
Right.
And all that we do, we learn every day. In all that we do, we learn every
We
day.
learn every day, yes.
Yes, education has no end. Even professors themselves are still learning.
Right.
It's a good one. So that's our wise words of the day. Hope you take cue and just build around it as you move along your regular and usual activities.
Right.
This is the Hard Talk. Let's take few bars of the theme song and we'll come back. We get into our first discussion on the show today. This morning, it was reported that, is it 2 or 3 persons?
2 persons.
2 persons die as a result of taking narcotic substance.
That is called Cooch.
Yeah, Cooch. Yeah, Cooch. I haven't seen Cooch. I've heard about Cooch on many occasions, Anthony, but I haven't seen it. I don't know how it looks like.
Cooch is a topic of the day around Liberia now.
Yeah, and so
I have not seen it.
The young people nowadays are deeply involved with the intake of these substances.
Yes.
And sometimes they misbehave, and sometimes it leads them to their early graves. And so we'll talk about that exclusively. Mind you, the communication director or manager at the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency in Market Jipley spoke recently and said it's upon all of us to ensure that we talk about the issue of drugs. And he talked about the major entry points in our country.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
He talked about developing mechanism that will disallow these substances from entering our country. He wants the issue of drug to be dealt with holistically, Anthony.
Right.
And so we'll talk about that exclusively on the first segment. Like we told you, at 5:05, we'll have security expert Ibrahim Kurman, former 102 of the Liberia National Police, joining us as we talk about public safety. We'll talk about security and elections. We know we are approaching a major election in our country. Security will be something to talk about, Anthony. Right. And then we'll also talk about the prevention of crimes in our society as well. How can we curtail the issue of crime in our society? So that's the lineup. Let's take feedback of the team. So when we come back, we begin the conversation this afternoon. All right, folks, welcome to the Hard Talk on ABC Radio 105.1. All of you who are glued to your monitor this afternoon, we want to say thanks for being with us. We urge you to continue to follow us each and every day. Follow all of our programs, and we'll also be looking out for your recommendations as we serve you. Well, you can also follow us live via the social media. Go to Facebook, tap ABC Radio Official, and like our page, you will start to get instant updates or notification when we are live with interesting developments. You can also download the Radio King app via Play Store or perhaps your Apple Store, and just log on to ABC Radio or follow ABC Radio via that app and listen to our crystal clear online radio. And so that's it. Never mind for the distraction. Never mind for the feedback you're experiencing in the background is due to some technical fraud. We're trying to work that out. But however, like I was telling you to just download the Radio King app via Play Store and via Apple Store. Those of you who are iPhone users, follow ABC Radio online and listen to all of our programs, news, and other interesting developments here at this broadcast institution. Having said that, let's begin the conversation. Anthony, today you were at New Kutan. You visited the borough of New Kutan on today, a particular community in New Kutan, Nyampanton community, where it was reported that 2 persons died as a result of narcotic intake. Something called Kush.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Kush. I haven't seen it. I don't know whether you've seen it.
No.
But I don't know. I've heard about Kush on many occasions. People say people taking Kush.
In fact, Kush is the talk of the day.
Yeah, so you were there
today.
today, Antonin, for the sake of this show and for the benefit of our listeners and viewers across the world. Just bring us up to speed with what you gathered on today as a reporter who visited the area where 2 persons died as a result of taking narcotic substances.
Well, this morning we got a call from a brother who lived in that community concerning the situation. We were informed that last night at about 12 midnight, and they got a word they used. They said 2-person spark, 5-person spark.
Uh-huh.
That is, I tried to copy some of their words they use anyway.
Yeah.
So when they say spark, they were talking about 5-person took in.
Okay.
When
Spark.
they took in the coach, their attitude changed.
Uh-huh.
You know, when you take
Yeah,
in
so
it,
the spark right there.
yeah, when your attitude change, when you start to use it, that would go spark. You do your normal thing. No, that one is spark.
Uh-huh.
So 5-person spark according to them. So they took it, they went unconscious. Community people came around on the spot. On the spot, 1 person died.
Oh.
They took 2 to the hospital. Those 2 they took to the hospital. The other guys start to misbehave. You know, they kind of people they already in more than the coach. So they start to misbehave at the hospital, Redemption Hospital. So the hospital now threw the guy out of the hospital. They brought him back. He also died. One of them 2 who could have died, a lady spoke to us this morning. A lady said, well, I saw him. He was checking. He was on the ground.
Uh-huh.
So when I asked, but what can we do? Some of them said power play can help.
Uh-huh. Power play.
Yeah, so they told, according to her, they bought 3 power play. Imagine.
Is it a soft drink or the energy drink?
The energy drink,
Okay,
power
yeah,
play.
energy drink.
They bought 3 power play. They stuffed him away, and they bought a sack of mineral water, cold mineral water.
Uh-huh.
They used the mineral water to beat him, and wasted it all on him, and he came to himself.
He came true, yeah.
The rest of the 2 are yet to be found. And so what we did was we tried to talk to people who live in the community.
Uh-huh. Community dwellers.
There were times in that particular environment, a house got, in fact, 3 houses in line got burned. And the guys went, they built something to the spot of the houses that got burned. They built something like
Makeshift.
Yes, makeshift tent.
Like get to also.
They were using, yes, they go and seed, have their stuff. Community dwellers, again, raise issue. Whoever came, DA or security people, destroy those places, but yet they are there. The community dwellers told us that even, have you heard about the famous Fuel Water in Equator?
Yeah, I heard about Fuel Water. I haven't been there, but I heard about Fuel Water.
I've been there. I know how Fuel Water is. It used to be. But the people told us that all of the criminals from around Fuel Water in other places, they all in their community now. So in fact, Fuel Water is even better than Nyampanton.
Huh.
But what we're trying to say in essence, in fact, some of them accuse, which I would want us to call Michael and Chipley, some of them accuse the DEA officers in the area of taking money from those who are dealers of the substance
Okay.
or the narcotic substances every weekend. And so because of that, they are unable to arrest the situation when people call them. Sometimes when they even seize the particular kush or other substances, those very people will go and pay money and they will return it to them. And so they, in fact, some of them even accuse their leadership because they feel that the leader is not proactive, he's not aggressive, he's not moving on, the guys taking in kush and other things. They are also blaming themselves, who are residents of the community.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are sheltering some of those people who are selling and taking in kush, according to them.
Okay.
And the other lady said, why you be renting my house if you selling kush? I know about that will keep you there. I have to put you out.
Okay.
But those very people are shooting those people. Nobody want to talk. I asked the other lady, I said, you're the same people who keep the people when police spoke out. Yeah. You will not talk because of fear of reprisal. And she said, this time around, I am prepared to open up. In fact, they are even saying they were planning to lock the community down one day, ensure that they come out. Those guys, they get on them, move on them, destroy everything that they use or they everywhere they had themselves to take the coach before the two of them died. You wouldn't imagine now till people are praying that yes, since the guy used to take the coach and or they used to take other substances and harm people,
Mm-hmm.
and then when they take kush can harm them, then it continue to harm them so all of them can die. Imagine people praying for that. It tells you how disastrous it is. It tells you how harmful it is to the lives. The last time it was reported that another guy died, one family died in St. Paul's Bridge in the same borough of Nickertown.
From the same coach.
Yeah, from the same coach. Today, 2 has totaled the number to 3 that are reported dead from coach. Imagine. And so sometimes when we said we talk about
Where is this coach coming from, Anthony? Where is it from?
That we have to find out, you.
Okay.
That we have to find out. But sometimes when we say it's not good to take in narcotic substances, to take in drugs, to do these things. Some of our friends feel that we are not sound. Some of the, those who take in drugs, they see you and I as stupid people. They see us as stupid people. Imagine somebody taking drugs, passing, looking, I don't know the best word to describe them, looking that odd. The person calling you Babylonian. So the guys feel very good. But mind you now, this is spoiling. This is damaging our system.
The call has been made for the passage of the drug law, to make the sales of drug non-billable,
Mm-hmm.
So that those who are in the habit of bringing in or smuggling drugs in our country to be found or held liable for what they're doing in our country, damaging the entire younger generation, all like that. And so I think there's a need for the government and all of the major stakeholders
To fast track
to
that.
come together and
Yes.
fast track that
Yes.
and show that, you have a stronger drug law. Other countries do have stronger drug laws. Anthony,
Mm-hmm.
you dare not want to venture around the usage of drugs.
No.
Once you are caught, you will be penalized in line with the laws.
Yes.
And so I think we can emulate those good examples from other countries, bring it back home, employ those ideas, those mechanisms
Yes.
that they also employ and got results. We can translate it back home and just try to save the youthful population or youthful generation of our country. Because that place you went today is one of the communities that hosts several young people.
Yes. Yes.
Nickertown is a very big community.
Very big one. In fact, Nickertown is
The entire borough, yeah.
the only borough.
Yeah. And
in
you
West
have
Africa.
you have lots of young people over there who are involved into all kinds of acts. And so with this introduction of kush in our country, we have to be mindful all of the major stakeholders, the major actors, there's about time that they come together to ensure that they find a solution to this issue of drugs. Anthony, you walk in the street, you see young people talking about themselves.
Yes.
You see young people misbehaving. Once they take in those substances,
They have no regard.
They start to behave abnormally.
In fact, they don't have any regard for anybody to you. They see everyone as if they are equal. In fact, they see you like you are their Peking. And
And so it has become the order of the day.
when you take in coach, you take in drugs every time. It gets used to your system. You need to maintain or sustain.
Yeah, it
that.
means you have to do it regularly.
So if you can't get money to take it, there are the people in the community crying now. The other lady who done through the interview, she said, "My son, let me tell you something. When the government can in the community, when I sleep. Even imagine somebody telling you that when you even cooking your food, you don't leave that pot to dare go for something in the room. The guys will even enter your hallway, enter your kitchen.
They start to get involved with criminal activities because they want to support their habit.
Take the food.
Yeah,
Sometimes when the food done, they will go and eat it and go sell the pot. Sometimes they waste it, they sell the pot because they want to buy cooks. They want to get money to buy other things. You hang your bed sheet, a different story. Even bathing towel, you hang it, they take it. Bar soap, you mistakenly open it and put it down, the guys will take it.
If nothing is done, Antonin, if nothing is done to eradicate or minimize the issue of drug in this country, I'm afraid we'll lose the entire youthful generation of this country. Almost all of them will be wiped away if nothing is done. And so, like I told you earlier on, it is upon all of us, major state actors, the government, and all those involved, to just do something about this whole thing in our country. If nothing is done, honestly, the entire youthful population will be wiped out. If nothing is done. The government must institute some measures or put into place a mechanism, mechanism that will eradicate or perhaps minimize this thing about kush in our country, illicit drugs in our country. You listen to Market Jeepley.
Yes.
All of our entry points
are vulnerable.
All of our entry points are vulnerable. Talked about the Robertson International Airport. Our borders with neighboring countries.
And you want to tell me you don't want for drugs?
Those entrances are used by those bad people who smuggle in those bad substances that spread all across the country and that destroy the image or the life of the young people. So we have to get involved. We have our role as journalists. We have to ensure that, yes, indeed, we do what is required. We inform the public about these things. We report what we see. But then the government of Liberia bears a greater responsibility, Anthony.
Okay.
The government bears a greater responsibility. If nothing is done, the entire youthful generation will be wiped away, Anthony. If nothing is done. So the legislature as well, our lawmakers.
Every one of us.
They have to get involved.
Every one of us do.
Our lawmakers will have to get involved.
Our fair responsibility.
They are the ones who craft laws in our country. They make the laws. And so if they will sit there and cannot do something about this thing about drug in the country, then I don't know where we headed.
You and I were here the other time. One of the very lawmakers, one of them was accused of interfering with or being responsible for drugs entering the place. And a few days when we heard from that very person who raised the issue, it's just for her to apologize. That in fact, I don't know what happened. But again, this issue of drugs coming to Liberia, many a times when you talk to people, they will tell you they are big hands. Ordinarily, to have drugs passing everywhere, till you passing every community now, people taking drugs.
So, but Anthony, if there are big hands behind this issue of drugs in our country, why can we bring that to book?
But the issue is, those who will even tell you that big hands, they don't even have substantial evidence to prove. But they will insinuate because they feel that the way things are going, people will feel that because this is happening and there is no way to address it. Nobody want to deal with the issue of drugs. No, the security people themselves, they're paying lip service to it, and so everybody feel that this is happening like this. But those who should take action, they're not taking action. It means they are responsible to some extent, and that's how people see it. But our brothers and sisters who should be wise enough to know that the future holds a lot for them, they are the ones destroying themselves. Why would you wake up one morning to take something that you and I know, that wouldn't do you right?
A sheer number of societal problems we have is as a result of drugs, Anthony.
Of course, yes.
And this thing about drugs in our country, I don't know how it actually started, Anthony. I don't know how. Sometimes I say the wonder. I don't know how it actually started.
Who it started with?
Where it is now, if nothing is done, I'm afraid. Where it is now. And people who get themselves involved with the intake of these substances don't know the danger associated with taking in those substances.
Mm-hmm.
If they are aware, I'm not sure they will want to get involved with taking in harmful substances. I'm not sure that they will want to get involved with taking in
those
harmful substances.
Those who are importing, or if narcotic substances
because
were not entering the country.
If you know what I know, Anthony,
Nobody.
And if you want to preserve your health, you want to ensure that you remain healthy,
mm-hmm.
you wouldn't get involved with taking in substances that will danger your health. You wouldn't get involved with those things. You wouldn't get involved. So I think there's a need for all of us, those major actors, those major players, our lawmakers, the government. I think there's a need for every one of us to come together and see how possible will it be to resolve the issue of drugs in our country. It's at an increasing level or increasing wave. Every community you go to in this country, Anthony, you find ghettos.
Mm-hmm.
Every community. I was in Chicken Factory the other day.
Corner.
I was in Chicken Factory the other day.
And you were shocked.
I saw several ghettos. I saw several young people who were going to those ghettos. Some of them were returning from the ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
I saw several young people, and I begin to imagine
what is going on.
Why would these guys, allow themselves to get deeply involved with the intake of these substances that would endanger their lives and destroy their future?
You're thinking about that?
I saw females as well.
Yes.
Females.
Yes, you.
Young people who should be doing something positive to impact the generation, to impact society, to contribute their quota to the growth and development of this country, they are going astray as a result of drugs.
They are the one consuming or taking in the drugs more. They're not thinking about their future. They're not thinking about where will they be. No. And so at the end result, you realize that the country will go beyond repair. But again, before maybe we move away, this is my passionate plea. Maybe it could also be an advice or voice of caution to my fellow young persons or young people across Liberia, we have a future. We have a future. Some of those things we are taking in. Some of those things we are taking in. Imagine having fire somewhere and the smoke, unexpected smoke entering your nose. Imagine the pains. And you sit there, you take something that whenever you take it in, it makes you unconscious. It makes you feel like, in fact, you are walking dead. You're standing by yourself and you're sleeping at the same time. Let us stop damaging our future. Let us stop damaging our lives. The future holds a lot for us. This country depends on us. The world is looking forward and looking up to us to make the necessary changes. The decision we are making today will even create more harm for us in the future than even now.
Of course, certainly.
Some of us are dying from cold. We are talking about changing the scope. We are talking about changing the narratives of leadership. We are yearning to get into leadership. How do we get there when we are not prepared? How do we take on the leadership of this country? How do we run the affairs of this state? Because all of those who are our parents, the mind have been gone few moments from now. It solely depends on us, for us to take charge. How do we take charge when we are not prepared? How do I take charge when I'm taking coach? How? And another young man standing into the place saying, testifying. All of they are take coach, the way shake my head, say. So I asked him, you will still take it? I said, you will not still take it.
And Anthony, drug has a serious effect on the behavior.
Yes.
It has a serious effect on the behavior of those who take them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, paranoia is one of those effects.
Okay.
An unrealistic distrust of others or a feeling of being persecuted. Extreme distress may be a sign of mental illness.
Okay.
One of the effects. Aggressiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Once you take in those harmful substances, you become very aggressive. Sometimes you don't want to listen. You do things that are not in line, and then once you are clear of those substances,
You start to
regret your actions.
Yes.
You mean addiction?
Yes.
Is one as well. Once you get so addicted, you want to do it like you mentioned earlier. You got to support that habit every day.
Continuously,
You got to do it every day. If you don't do it, somebody say they feel so bad in their body. They feel so disorganized once they don't do what they normally do.
So let me tell
So
you
once
something.
you are addicted,
Let me tell you something to you. It feels like a normal person who has not taken a bath for 2 days. The way, in fact, the entire day from the morning,
you feel so uncomfortable.
in the evening, you want to go to bed, you have to go to the bathroom to take bath. If you don't, the way you feel, sometimes that's how the guy feel.
Of
When
course.
they even take their stuff, imagine some of them don't even want to see water, don't want to touch water because they feel the water will take their, you want to take me for him feelings.
One of the effects is impaired judgment. You're not rational in the decisions you make in your judgment.
But
you do things
you don't even
out of the way.
You are not
It
even
means you're not for yourself.
You are not even able to think. How do you make judgment?
So these are some of the effects of drugs.
You are not able to
Taking
think.
in drugs. Impulsiveness could be one of them. Loss of self-control. These are all effects associated with taking in drugs. Those harmful substances our young brothers and sisters take in every day. I mean, sometimes I feel so sad, Anthony. You see young people who should be doing something positive. You see them going astray. You see them die in the streets like dogs. It's painful.
And even more than dogs.
It's painful. So it is upon everybody, ranging from the government, the legislators, people we elect to make laws, people we elect to represent us at the level of the legislature, the parents themselves
Mm-hmm.
will have a part to play. If you have a young kid who is growing up, take for instance any community like Nukutown. Don't get me wrong, there are lots of good people
Of course.
living in Nukutown. I
Yeah.
live in Nukutown for several years as well, and I know. So when you have your kids growing up in a particular area,
And you don't give them attention.
and you don't give them that attention, you don't talk to them, you don't advise them
Mm-hmm.
not to follow suit, not to follow their peers, not to get involved with those things their friends are doing, then it means you too have a part to play.
Yes.
You too could be held responsible for some of the
It means
things we are experiencing.
It means you are not far from even lost in your children.
So the parents have a greater responsibility. They have a greater role to play
Certainly.
as well. In as much as we want the government to make out of the laws, we want the legislature to add out of the laws that will come down high on those who will or those who are smuggling these harmful substances in our country. We also have to play our role, respective roles as parents. So that's it. I mean, let's attack it from all angles, Anthony.
All of the laws can be on the book. When we ourselves are not careful with our lives, nothing will work for us. You can have the legislature making all of the laws, but there are strong laws on rape, yet people rape. And so, with all of these things, we have to help ourselves.
Of course.
We have to help ourselves. We need to advance ourselves. Nobody wants to listen. People want to take all sorts of things. They call it coot. And sometimes, when I heard that 2 persons died as a result of taking coot, I was like, "Oh, why wrong with you guys? Are they stupid?" Because you will never be sound. You hear somebody die from the thing first. It's okay. The first thing you took the thing and make you like you're not a human being.
Yeah,
you turn around, you go back to A.
You behave abnormal.
There are other people even want to taste alcohol. The way it treat them, they don't go back to A.
Of course.
Imagine.
And so, folks, if you're out there and you're monitoring us, perhaps you want to just weigh in on our discussion this afternoon. We talked about the issue of drug abuse and the use of narcotic substances in our country. We outlined some of those effects of taking in drugs. Maybe you're a parent and you want to weigh in. Perhaps you are one of the stakeholders and you're following this broadcast. You want to weigh in as well. It is your time to participate. Let's hear from you. Perhaps you want to recommend to national government. You want to recommend to those up Capitol Hill. Let's hear from you on the numbers 0777 105 100, 0555 105 100, and you will certainly be live on the Hard Talk first segment on ABC Radio 105.1. We will just take few calls, and then at 5 we take a musical brief. Following the musical brief, we will have our second guest in studio, or our guest on the second segment in studio.
Hello. Go ahead, let me. Go ahead.
You see about the push, why you put this up? The food is coming in from Montana.
Okay.
Yeah, and our brother and sister, they turn around with reality to them that because as we determine we really need to cover high on our little kids that is coming up this time around. Because you see the push, it is not this Zugunan that taking the push. It is our brother and sister who are in the home pretended they don't smoke, they don't drink. These are the people that the push is killing.
Okay.
And for the DA, they are only black on the both sides.
Even if you go to fuel water every weekend, the dealer who sell there will get their weekend pay. Even those that sell the push, during the weekend, they will go around and collect their money. That is the reason you see the push is getting rampant in this country. Every time you hear somebody push kids and the first who is killing is the little kids.
Oh, okay.
It's 20 up.
Okay.
It's not Zobo. Zobo is not taking push. Zobo got a something where they can take it.
All right.
So we have to come around.
Thank you, Lemio. Hello.
Hello?
Hello. What's your name from where you call?
My name is Sarah Johnson. I joined this conversation from the office of the incoming president, Federal Pastor Joseph Makwaka, a resident of Makawa, New Jersey Town Center.
Cyrus, go ahead.
My senior comrade, let me use this time to employ each and every one of you for the talking. But before I go forward, let me talk about the Bible and say, you can't stop, or let me say, you can't wear water while the water still pulling in the area. Very simple. That's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
We all are suffering. It doesn't mean that because Mr. Johnson ready to and then involved with hard substance consuming. So it means that you shouldn't leave the objective whenever people discuss it in the intellectual forum or even on the media. But let me say this so you might do let me say this.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had the opportunity for you to see impressive a guy according to big recommendation on it. A sorry folk to see government teacher who will go and speak it properly to use the adjective to take up teacher leader, which is the people who are consuming the hard substance. They don't want people who are teaching on tomorrow to take the country and carry the country forward.
We are depending on broken stable.
Then the national government will say in a very error. They will hear that there is individual that drugs or someone who's selling drugs. But my sure that I can't make out the air at the end of the table.
All right, Cyrus. All right.
It's very bad. It's bad that you keep living in your country. It's coming from all the that people go to live.
Thank you, Cyrus. Hello.
Yeah,
What's your name from where you call, Chief?
my name is Blessing Tubazi. I'm calling on 77.
Go ahead, Blessing. 1 minute.
Yeah.
Hello. Well, he left the line. This person here is on line 2. Hello. Hello. This is not Vesely. This is Anthony. Fine. But you know the radio you're listening to, my man. Go ahead. Go ahead. What's your name? Where you call from? Go ahead, Paco.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you're talking about that drugs business. Thank you so much for this topic.
All right. That from Kush too?
Yeah.
What Kush we are making? Kush we are setting record. All right. All right. All right. Thank you. Okay, oh, my man. Thank you. Now, now again. I got me putting cushion people more to take it. Hello. What's your name? Where you call from, sir? Blessing. Go ahead. Okay. 0777 105 100 0555 105 100. Those are the numbers you can call to be live here on the Hard Talk. Well, this is the Hard Talk. My name is Anthony Theo Williamson. Sir, we are here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But let's hear from you, calling Another person is already on the line. That person slip off the line. But we are still taking your calls here. Called in Kuch. Drugs is damaging our society, particularly the one they call Kuch. I want to kill people now. Hello. What's your name? Where you call from? Go ahead.
Yeah, but I want to commend you first and foremost talking about this question. You know, this vegan ministry that was said at 20 to 40. When it go rain here, because of the CEO talking to them, getting them small money, then they can see the workplace that are in the book. Even go around Pakistan, our president has been around up there Pakistan. When the man goes away here, as the CEO in that corner block, giving them money, let the workplace that are.
So who they can call CEO now? Oh, now they can call them a CEO. No, okay. Okay. All right. We can call Michael J. Play. Hello. Yeah, please walk away from your radio, please. Go ahead, John.
I'm a old man. I only give from 2017 up to now.
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay.
So I'm sorry. I'm sorry for our children now.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Pakafon. 777-105-100. Very shortly, we'll have our next guest here on the show. Let's hear from you. Let's hear from more of you. This is very critical and crucial to the survivability of our young population or the youthful population. Good evening. What's your name? Go ahead, Morris. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. 0777-105-100. We want to make effort to talk to Marcus J. Play.
Yeah, Anthony, certainly.
Yeah, shortly we'll talk to Marcus because all of the blames continue to go to the LDEA. You know, when we went nuclear town this morning, some of the people said the DEA people can go take their weekly something. They can take their weekly part down from those who are selling the drugs.
Anthony, that's an allegation, but we can rule that out though.
Yeah, so
like
we have to talk to
I think you have
Michael.
to establish contact with G-Play.
Let's pick up this person. Hello. Number. Go ahead. You say the Corwell commander, DEA commander selling drugs? What is the name?
How reliable is that information you're providing us this? Have you seen a man transacting?
No, that your son, huh? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're trying to call the DA.
The young people are greatly affected when it comes to substance abuse. The young people are at higher risk than even non-users. The young people are.
Hello? You want to walk away from that radio or you low in?
Yeah, I was just telling you, Anthony, the young people, when it comes to substance abuse, are at higher risks, even more than those who are non-user of substances. Mental problems,
Right,
are things you encounter.
Mm-hmm.
Depression, like I mentioned earlier on,
Yes.
when I was giving some of the effects. Conduct problems. Sometimes you behave like you're not normal,
Mm-hmm.
Personality disorder. These are things that happen. Suicidal thoughts. Sometimes you want to think on committing suicide.
Right.
When you're into these kinds of substances, you think differently. You are not an ordinary or normal person.
I take the person to you. Hello? Hello, what's your name? Where you call from?
I'm Jackson K and I'm calling from Congo.
Go ahead, Jackson.
Yeah, this drug business, you're putting it over there every night, every time, every day. But the DA people what you're talking about, they want a copy for this problem over.
How?
How did DA book causing the problem?
Okay, if they can somewhere going to take money every weekend or every day, and when they see anybody with drugs, they just let the person go. Then who is causing the problem now?
Is that happening in your community? Is that what you're telling us?
They want in my community.
Is it happening in your community?
We have a ghetto here, right here by the what they call it, the former combatants that live here.
Where you live?
Congo Town, sir.
Oh, Congo Town.
Congo Town,
Oh, okay.
right by this place, what we call this guy here, here. That's where the guy is ghetto. Even you go there, you see some of the students, they can undress themselves, they come and sit down in the drug place there and
What's your name? What's your name, Chief?
I say my name Jackson Pay. I live right behind Zone 3.
Okay.
Jackson P.
All right.
Jackson P.
Jackson P. Beyond Zone 3 in Congo Town.
Exactly.
So you say in your area there too, the DA men can go collect that on the team?
Oh, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
My friend was talking to you can't carry you there. One day you'll get my number, your just will go easy, sit down, you will see them.
Oh, okay. All right, boss man. Thank you.
Okay, thank you too, sir.
Another person is already here. Hello.
Yeah, Momo kind of calling for the second time. So the information is that it's true. And then when they come in the community like that, they can share food on the people when and what they did in the community.
They can do what?
The DA can share food?
You know, I'm talking about for example, because they can deal with the Nigerian guy.
Or the just people?
They just people, they can deal with it, and then when they come, they tell that people there in the community that what they can do, like what he did for them, just to silence the people, not to talk. Because you know, our people there, the poverty rate too much in there until they can accept anything. And then when they do it like that, when I start to spoil, they don't think about the children's future, but think about what we eat today. That's why he did. They share food with other people that are strong for them. They silence them. They start to build the place.
Oh, so when they get there, the first thing they can do, those people, those potential talkers are there who they know that can leak out anything at any time that they don't want to get to first. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. What happened? You won't go through the DA commander too?
Okay. Thank you.
All right, my brother.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very kindly.
Thank you.
Anthony, these are common or minor side effects of drugs. You experience diarrhea, dizziness, and these are things that happen to the guys when you see them in the street. You see the dizziness all in them. You can actually know what's happening with them.
Tramadol.
Fatigue.
They used to take tramadol. They're sleeping. They're standing or they're sleeping.
Sometimes you suffer from heart issues. You got heart problems and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You start to experience rash on your skin.
Right.
These are minor side effects of taking in harmful substances.
Mm-hmm.
So they will see these things know them, and still want to get involved with these kinds of practices in our society. So too many accusing fingers been pointed at the LDA. Too bad we can get Michael Gibley to respond to some of the allegations. Michael is saying he don't have the time now to respond to.
But I don't think Michael should be giving an excuse.
Some of the allegations
coming
from the communities.
I don't think he should be giving an excuses like these, because when you start to do this, then it creates room for speculation. It creates room for people to even believe what those people are saying. Michael, just because I'll call, just a minute. Michael, have you, do you have any knowledge of some of your officers compromising drug cases? Well, if yes, or yes, no, no.
Some of your officers going to various communities on the weekend and collecting their packages has been alleged by
has there been any
those who are
calling this, Michael?
We just want to know. Just want to find out these.
Please take our call. Don't that excuse you're giving. The reason we're calling you for that, the reason we're paying you for in the country. So you're supposed to know that. Hello? Yeah. We're fine. What's your name? Where you call from?
My name is Maurice.
Go ahead. Let's hear you quickly.
Let me tell you something about this job. People have certain people with them for the voluntary job.
The what?
They doing voluntary job.
Mm-hmm.
They don't tell me.
Mm-hmm.
But tell me now, why this guy getting me at 80 from? Just for the people to collect money for people. Even myself, I live in a community before where in a tree house, the landlord was doing it. When I enter there, because for me, I was security, when I enter there, I begin to ask or DMX. So, all the thing I was there, they like to come again. Now, when they come, they don't give me spoon. I said, no. Smoke yet. Because, yes. And I had one of my friends who went in a DA box. They made to tell the message when they go up away. Anything they see, they will take it.
Okay.
And when they take it, they have to do that. So my brother just been my brother.
Okay, thank you. And Anthony, if it is true that the DA themselves are involved with those kinds of acts, then I think they will have to desist.
They certainly have to stop.
Because it means you're not doing anything. It means you probably just wasting your time.
Right.
How can you be fighting drugs and you be the one soliciting bribe from those who are dealers of drugs, and even those who are taking in the substances?
Yeah.
How can you reconcile that?
How can you reconcile?
If that is the case, then I think the DEA will have to desist from that. But those are all allegations. We have to authenticate them.
Yeah, we hope that we can have Michael sometime.
So let's take a break. Let's take a musical break. Following the break, we hope to have our security expert Abraham Kromat joining us. I'm told he's en route to our broadcast facility. He will join us shortly. So let's take this quick musical brief out. But if you just join us, it's a reminder that you are in tune to ABC Radio. The program is the Hard Talk. And we are here. My name is Tia Williams. My colleague is Anthony J. Van Jondley. We're bringing you this weekend edition of the program. Let's take this song. It's by Queen Judy Annie and the Crusaders for Peace. It's called A2 Lily. 50 minutes past 5 o'clock. This is the Hot Talk on ABC Radio. When Jude Kenny and the Crusaders for Peace, featuring Flavor Nambania from Nigeria. It's the weekend. Let's flex up a little bit. Congratulations to two of our stars at ABC Radio, Kamata Willie and crew Queen Denise Nipson, head of programs here at the Atlantic Broadcasting Corporation. Congratulations to all of you. I want to wish you well as you go about celebrating on today. So, no shaking on the Friday.
He is on the ABC radio. Very shortly on the program, we will have a bank former security expert, former head of operations area national police, public safety, security relations with veterans in society. Conversation this evening around security. Because part of the national security in the context of security.
Radio to say that lah. You remember there when you Costa were convincing Mame we can't be here. We gotta go. We gotta leave the people in Mame. Let's try to go. When I received the call that you Costa were coming to leave because the police is getting ready to move in, you were aware that the police were moving in. Every information we're getting in. Watch your tape. When you left, I said Costa, I need to come. You ever came back? Because you took money. Now what you were telling me, say not leave. I told you I was not leaving. You think I'm not credible? You Costa, you myself who credible. You're criminal. You myself who credible. You dog that you. You criminal that you. Have I ever resigned from Chile? It is my first destination. I can never be a part. I suspended my membership, Mr. Fool, Mr. Dumbheaded man. You got nothing in your head. I suspended my membership. Check the record. And bring one other copy. That is my second time resigning from the COP. I will resign as representative. Show me one copy. Mr. Dumbheaded man, Mr. Blackmailer, criminal that you taking money from government, taking money from everybody to promote them. You think the LeBron Paul trust you? The LeBron Paul trust me than you, Costa. You know why people come to your place to listen to you? It's because sometimes people want to see vision come there. to listen to you. So that the bigger platform you get, I get a bigger platform. I in Liberia, come. Let's show to our leader we got a bigger platform. You dumb hell man. Come on, the radio again, discuss me. They told you not to do it, you did it, right? Look at your fool. Look at your empty head. You think you sit down with your big head and get you money to spoil it? You think we allow it to happen? I'm calling on our leaders to spoil the people. Stop. Because if our level be at risk, or sorry, because they're saying you're saying now you're acting like children. I'm referring to our leaders that are behaving like children. You people behaving like cowboy. You need to stop it. If not, I will jump on you people. Send your man a fool, they call Consala, collect their money from Ambassador. We have to come to
Oh my God. Oh my God. So yeah, the weekend.
Talk to Nigerian brother,
Even though
Senator Dillon. Senator Dillon, I want you to know that you are not okran with the TRC report. Every time you see me come in, no, when you were speaking, you didn't say order. When you were speaking, you did not say order. Whenever time you see me, you talk about what I must tell you, the people of Nimba were declared enemy of the state. They were being butchered or slaughtered like chickens and goats, and we have to defend ourselves to survive today. Deal with the issue that is on the floor. Deal with the issue on the agenda. But this boy who has his own record of gazing, who's the boy? You know him. Then every time he sees me, he talks about walk Ranko, Prince Johnson, walk Ranko. When you see me, I want you, Mr. Pro Tem, give me a time, set a special date.
All right, welcome to the continuation of the Hard Talk on ABC Radio 105.1, the official voice of Atlantic Broadcasting Corporation. Well, we're still anticipating the arrival of our guest on the second and final lap of the show. But in the meantime, between time, we will just do a little studio chat around election security, public safety, and other issues in this country as we head to a major election in our country, folks. We will do this until Colonel A.B. Cormack can arrive here. Then we begin the conversation because time is fast spent. It's 27 minutes past 5 o'clock. He should have been here 5:05. But I think he's somewhere caught up and he will be here very shortly, according to him. So we want to talk about security as we approach the major election in our country. Anthony, I don't know whether you've heard some Liberians speak of recent. More Liberians are concerned about their own safety and the safety of their family members as we approach these elections in our country. I've heard many Liberians say to me they are planning, to visit neighboring countries or to travel to neighboring countries ahead of the elections with fear that perhaps something could happen. And so we all know election is just around the corner, and lots of Liberians are fear for their own safety and the safety of their family members. We will go in depth when we have our guests, but we just want to give you our own thoughts on election and security, provide you some safety tips as well as we move along the show this wonderful evening. This is the second and final lap of the show, and we will just sit here and provide you some analysis on security. We're not security experts though, but
Yes, of course.
from our own layman thinking and what we think, how we see it, we will just tell you exactly that. So yes, like I was saying, Anthony, too many concerns. Some Liberians are concerned about their safety as we approach the elections, given the wave of violence of recent in some quarters. Liberians are concerned about their own safety. I don't know whether you've heard anything of such, but I've heard Liberians say to me, somebody said to me, I will just get my photo card and just cross go somewhere and go sit down after election and come back here. I've heard that.
And many persons even believe that when you share your view on a particular thing, you are not for a particular political group, you are not safe. But how can we erase those beliefs that because Theo Williams belongs to Anthony party and Anthony belongs to Theo Williams party, so the two of them will be our local heirs? And so because he expressed his opinion on things that are happening in the political setting of our country, he disagrees with a particular political group, so he can walk the street.
Yes.
Those are beliefs from too many persons.
Yeah, sure.
But how do we erase all of those things? One thing I believe, because the fact that Theo gets all one money and somebody throw rock over his zine, and he has different political alignment and different political belief. He's one of the tough talking person from that other political party. The first thing that comes to your mind is that the other men from the other side didn't want to come here after me. And that's what happens. People feel that way. But if you continue to feel that there are people who even come after you to do some sinister things, not even political parties.
Yeah, Anthony, like you said it right.
But
as I was reading, I was reading through last evening, I came across several tips, several safety measures you can apply during electioneering periods in any country for that matter, especially our country, Liberia, Africa as a whole. I mean, I read something about not arguing or talking politics in the public, like you mentioned a few minutes ago. Certain quarters, you don't just say certain things in certain quarters.
Of course, yes.
For example, you are a partisan of a particular political party, and you went to a particular area where you have those who are residents of that area, probably are on the other side. You don't support the individual you support, and then you get involved with having public conversation. You arguing about politics in the public. Sometimes you get attacked because of that.
Yes.
So as we move along, Liberians will have to avoid that. That was one of the safety tips I came across while researching on election security as we approach this major process in our country. I also came across this one. It's always get back home on time. Always get back home on time.
Once you are a tough political person.
Yeah, but the thing is, once you don't have anything doing, why should you stay out after a certain hour of the day or of the night?
But the fact you still had job to do at your offices,
at
other places, you have to go home the time you are done.
Of course.
Nothing should put you in rush to go home or to leave from your office or to leave from wherever you are because of another thing. No, nothing should keep you in rush.
So you see, because in our country, we've not grown up to a certain level, so these things will happen. We're just giving some preventive measures. One of the tips said, do not criticize any politician, like I mentioned earlier, and avoid wearing party paraphernalia, or campaign uniforms in the public.
And when you do that, you are a little bit free.
Yeah, So I mean, these are steps you can take and avoid, coming in contact with anything dangerous or thing that will harm you. But again, it is a right to discuss intellectually, to talk politics. It's called for on our laws. We all have our own political interest that we support. So every Liberian should have the right to talk about who they want to support. Void of intimidation, void of personal attacks, and what have you.
But the fact is,
it can be avoided though.
Election, or in fact, the democracy that we talked about, it doesn't in any way force or compel anyone to be a part of a party because another person is part of that party. The reason why we have democracy is for us to exchange ideas.
Yes, that's
to
the essence of
disagree
democracy. Yeah.
as to who this person wants and who the other person wants. At the end of the day, we still come under one person because one person will be choosing whether 100% get up for a particular position, 10,000 person separately go beyond 100%. At the end of the day, we have to resolve to a place. We have to find a common ground. We have to sit down around one table to say, this is the person we want. This is the person we are carrying. And so, no reason why you should go and fight. No reason why we should go and hint or hate our other people for nothing. But we hope that maybe the expert will join us.
Yeah. So, what assurance
Do we have
as citizens as we move about these elections, as we campaign,
Security.
as Liberians will campaign?
security assurance?
Yes, security assurance.
In fact, civil society
what
institutions,
can we do?
civil society,
Or what should be done?
individuals, journalists, and all are at risk sometimes during elections
Of course, not even sometimes.
because
It's normal in our country, Anthony. Not
when,
even sometimes.
when you report certain things, those politicians you report about don't want you to report it. They don't want to hear it. Though it is happening, it is real. You check all of the facts. You respected the ABC mentor. And you go ahead, at the end of the day, they don't want to hear it. You become the target. How do we get over these things? Those are basic questions that are yet to be answered. But again, we are going to election very shortly. In fact, as the voter registration is on, there are even complaints
About discrimination and all like that.
Yes, even other people are buying voter cards to destroy it.
Yes.
I was looking at the rationale behind somebody buying voter card to go spoil it.
I don't buy that, Anthony. I don't know. I don't know where the chairman of the CDC took that from, but I don't want to subscribe to that because I don't see the possibility. The thing is, I mean, I want votes, right? Why should I buy? I think our guess is here.
Yes.
Why should I buy
let me
someone's
guess here.
voter card and then go to destroy it? I mean, I don't see the logic. I don't get it. So I don't want to further discuss that because it's somehow, I don't know how we'll pull it, but I don't want to buy into that. Well, this is the Hard Talk on ABC Radio 105.1. We are live and direct from the corner of Brown Buchanan Streets in Monrovia. Thankfully, our guest is here, even though time is running out. But I think we can utilize the remaining minutes and go quickly into the discussion. It's good to have you, Colonel Ibrahim Kroman, a security expert and former head of operations of the Liberian National Police. Welcome to ABC Radio. How are you today?
Thank you very much. It is a pleasing pleasure to be in the ears of your listening public.
It's been a while. Where have you been?
I've been on a hustle, buddy. I've been around. I've been in and out of Liberia, and but I'm here. I'm stationed in Liberia.
Great. We call you here today to provide some security knowledge. You are an expert in the field of security. As we approach these elections in our country, you and I know that it's critical. There are fears in some quarters. I've listened to Liberians express fear about the upcoming elections. Some are even planning to leave the country. As a security expert, what assurance?
Dragging that expert.
Yes.
What assurance can the public have as we move towards these elections, Colonel Kroman?
To give such an effective assurance to the public, I should have access to all the information that you have.
Okay.
So that's the reason why I might not give you a complete assurance and understanding as to what it should be like. But what I can tell you is that our society is built on the rule of law.
Okay.
And folks coming to these elections, we have to understand that you cannot come here conducting elections and you want to participate in these elections. You have to come with the understanding that our country is built on the rule of law, and the police and the security apparatus will be to the best, ensuring that our people exercise the franchises without you interrupting them. And that's one assurance I know I can give the folks, that we have an established system, and that system cannot be abrogated to certify any one person, whether you're in opposition, whether you're in position, or whatever we call them. But one good thing I know is that, again, like I said, I would not have all of the information that I can give you, like when I'm sitting on the seat, I tell you, these are the stats we have. This place will have this place will have this. Remember, we had the most recent operation, people that transferred one democratically elected government to another.
Of course.
With that at the back of my head, I can tell you there has to be a lot of stuff that the current structure will have to put into place to show that smooth transition. I heard the other day, I wasn't around, that there was this resolution signed in among the political parties, which was encouraging.
Okay.
We did that. There was that thing signed in the very place there in Marshall. What's the place name again? The hotel. Farmington. The Farmington Declaration and Agreement. I think that is a sign of agreement, sign of assurance that we all must rely on, and people should be held accountable, put feet to the fire. Because if you sign such an agreement, and at the end of the day you want to cry foul, and the foul, you can cry foul. You follow the rule of law, follow the defined and designed structure that our country is built on. But you cannot resort into violence.
What kind of election do you foresee security-wise, Mr. Kurma?
Again, I go back to my previous answer. I'm a functionary. I'm a practitioner. I'm a functionary, and now I've taken another hat, which is a businessman.
Okay.
But you see, the monkey can't eat with black hands. I will always be a policeman.
Okay.
I will be a security man all my life, from 5 years up to now, at 50 plus years. I'm not going to leave anytime soon. I'm adding the security thing there. I mean the business thing there, and then there's also the security businessman. But I can tell you from what we've seen, again, our country is built on a very strong principle. It's just that you need people to actually advance that principle, and I have no reason to believe that our system has been degraded to a certain extent. But one thing I know I can tell you, that our system will live the test of time, and I can see that we'll have a very smooth elections. If anybody who would think that they can test the resolve of the Liberian people at this point in time, I think that person should take a different look at themselves in the mirror.
That means you are confident about the security sector at the moment.
Oh no, yes, I've always been confident with security sector. The structure that was sent from the restructuring of the security apparatus is something that I know of, something I have to put together, something I know that will stand the test of time. It has cushion that you can bend, but it's not going to break. And my plea has always been to the governing structure, both the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. Come up with true program and strategy that will help to support the system that we all formulated. That system has been there. And when we were leaving, we left turnover notes. And I'm sure the current guys sitting in the seats in all these seats will actually follow the turnover note. Transitioning one government to another entails a lot of support coming from the governing structure. And not just the executive. It has to be from the judiciary. They have to be from the executive. Because there are certain security things that, and I'm glad that we had this new police act passed, and which basically gave the police a leverage, a latitude that will actually allowed us to enforce the law within the confine of the law, in the confine of our established constitutional right.
You mentioned strategies. What are some of those strategies you think the current police or the security sector will have to employ?
You know, I will have to, if you answering that question, I have to write you a check for the free consultation. And just so you know, I run a consultancy firm.
Okay.
So if you want me to give you that, call Mr. Samatua and the rest of the guys. I will send them my bill, and then they can get that
No,
free from me.
you're an expert.
I'm not going to be. I'm not going to give
And
you.
you are providing your expert opinion on
Chief,
some of
Chief,
the issues in country, security-wise.
Chief. Strategy, education, and information is very expensive. That's why I decided I registered a consultancy firm at the private level. The government need that structure. I'm the most recent executive director of National Election Task Force.
Okay.
I'm in power with the requisite experience and understanding. If anybody need it, we can pass that to you. Not free bono at this time. I've done a lot of pro bono situation at this point, but for that one, Election Commission, I've given them a proposal. Okay. And they can work with that proposal. They've not had the opportunity to actually sit around the table so we can talk about them.
So
we do it.
Okay, so in a way, since you cannot provide a free service for the security apparatus of our country, even though you were once seated at a place that all of the major activities has to focus on you, how do we, the ordinary citizen, have to conduct ourselves during this election in line with security steps?
Look at the guy passing beyond the door to come and ask the same question. But look, listen, I'm not refusing to help the security situation.
No, I'm not saying.
And I'm not going to play the armchair police chief or armchair deputy for operation, or armchair head of election task force. I'm not going to do that, because to do that, I'll be undermining the current situation.
Okay.
But if you need me to proffer some understanding, which will help to do that, and my doors are open. Patrick Sulu knows my number. All of this, and I provided to them free of charge. I don't want to publicize that so that I will be seen as somebody who's bragging what I know, what I don't have.
Okay.
I've gone to the police headquarters. I provided information that I do have on several issues, and we can always do that when the time comes for implementing these things. We will always be available.
So let's talk about crimes or the prevention of crimes in our society.
Okay.
You had a particular segment of the police, or particular department of the police,
yes,
that was responsible for operations.
Mm-hmm.
You were very robust in that position.
I like that. The boss part.
Yes.
What do you make of? What do you make
Some
of
people say we're heavy-handed, which is a mischaracterization.
What do you make of the increasing wave of crimes in our country nowadays?
It's appalling. It's something that has to be abated as soon as possible, because you can't conduct election. Election has its own security in itself. Election has its own security situation.
Okay.
And you can't put the rest of the petty crime, armed robbery, and all of this things added to election security.
Okay.
The year that we're going to election should be the crime rate should be dropped, should be reduced to a certain level, so that we concentrate on conducting election, a free, fair election. But if you go to election with the crime rate high, you'll be fighting two things, because there are disgruntled guys who will want to add up, take advantage of what you have in the security situation, and then add that to the election security itself. Then it'll be convoluted. And then you need now a decipher between the two. It's a difficult task you have to carry on. And that's why at this point in time, and I am sure Patrick Sulu and the rest of the guys up Capitol Hill doing everything they can to actually minimize, reduce. You're not going to eradicate the situation that we have right now, but you can reduce it to a very comparable level, so that you now can concentrate on the issue of election violence and issues that will relate to making sure that the folks go to election free of intimidation and free of harassment.
You were somehow instrumental or perhaps successful in fighting crimes, the issue of armed robberies and other related crimes in our country. Colonel Krumah, let's know from you, what did you do then that minimized the increasing wave of armed robbery in the country and other activities that the current administration is not doing?
No. See, I don't like to have a competitive analysis a competitive situation with the current.
Why were you successful then?
Okay, that's good. What we just a very simple understanding. We for personally, when I came from police school, I was taught to be consistent, to be persistent, and to be fair. And luckily for me, when I came to town, when I came back home from school, I was teamed up with a group of guys who will listen to my advice, will actually work with my system. And I work in a system basically that believe in me and I believe in the system that I was introduced to. I managed to have chief of police that basically believe in my style and understanding that you can be rebelled without violating anybody's right.
Of course.
But it's a difficult thing. It's a catch-22. Guys who are not used to that.
Catch-22.
Yeah, guys who find themselves living in a society where the view of reducing crime, view of making sure that you have a stable society, you have to have a deterrent principle that be based on deterrence. And guys who would not understand those understanding, it's academic. You might think I'm being academic about, but the thing is, to reduce crime, to have a society that the investor will have trust in, you have to have a deterrent principle embedded within the fabric of the societies, embedded within the fabric of the law enforcement community. So once you took that to a certain level, then you find out that guys who you work with buys into it to the point where they know that you actually exercising a particular process, and then you start to make progress. And I was lucky, like I said, to meet Chris Massaquoi. He's an older guy who also is an expert and trusts in a young kid who just came from grad school with all the exuberance, and said, "Hello, man, go ahead, see what you can do." And we impounded. We did a lot, and I had the opportunity before going to grad school. I had the opportunity to work for Brandon Samukai. Can you imagine?
Former defense
minister, was chief of police when I served as director of CID.
Okay.
I said I worked with that guy. I got every reballs that you can find. I took it out of him. He taught me how to be effective, how to be efficient. Then from there, then I team up with a guy like Chris Massaquoi, who basically is a calm guy but very, very, very astute. And he goes after his goal in a very tactical way. And then from there, then I had the opportunity to team up with Gregory Coleman, who's an Ivy League guy, who basically used to work for me used to be my deputy, and then he became my boss.
Okay.
So now so you know the level of trust that is there, right? I gave him orders and then he trusted my order, enforced the orders. Then the table turned around, he became my boss.
Right.
And you know what it means?
Yes.
He trusted me before when I was his boss.
Right.
He now trusted me as his deputy who's responsible for the operation of the country. And because being 102 is not just 102 for the police, you're 102 for immigration, for everybody else. Because when it comes to national security operation meeting, you're in charge. When I did the situation in the Southeast, Operation Restore Hope, when the peacekeeper was killed, I was in charge of operation, where I had AFL, basically would serve as a backup. But then when it comes to implementing operation, I was in charge. I was the duty guy.
Okay.
You have immigration, you have NSA, you have everybody there. But I was the fulcrum upon which everybody's turned.
Okay.
Because that's how the position of 102 stands.
Do you sometimes get ginger when you hear about armed robbery crimes in a society as a former 102?
Man, I'm a citizen of this country, and I live here. I live in a community. The only thing I told the armed robbers I made from being announced, don't come in my community. That's when we got that agreement. They're not going to come in my community. And that's no. On the serious note, I feel it's general. Yes, this is our society, and a lot of stuff goes around, but it's something that we try to minimize from our own perspective. My own vantage point, I've preferred views to a lot of communities privately without even going public.
How's it working?
Community, yes, it has worked. It's community policing. That's my expertise. I basically got myself involved in community-oriented policing.
Okay.
So, Colonel Proman, after working with all of those you listed, I guess you enjoyed working with them. I'd like to know, are you still in a position to serve our security sector when
I've always said this to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I am a Liberian. I am a qualified Liberian.
Okay.
And who got educated by my own sweat, my own when I went to America.
Mm-hmm.
I got student loan to actually educate myself. Government paid $0 down for my education. But I love this country.
Okay.
I love this country with all my heart,
Mm-hmm.
tell you the truth. Because this is the only country I know. And this is the only country I cannot be deported from. And as Mr. Dillon would say at one point in time. But I can tell you this clearly, though. I have always told people that I am a very privileged Liberian who have had the opportunity to work in government at all levels. I work as Deputy Commissioner of Maritime in the internal government. A matter of fact, ironically, I work as Chief of Staff of the AFL in the internal government. And so when they needed to restructure the army, when there's a need to establish an army where you have all the guys that came from the Bureau Warren faction, we needed to come back together to help to serve and teleguide the affairs of all of those guys was a very Herculean task. We did it with the help of the ECOMOG and everybody else. We passed through all of that. And then I went to Maritime. Then I went back to the police. I took a sabbatical for the police. Then I went to Maritime. I came back to the police as director of CID. And the director of CID was one of my most killer attacks because I always brought up as a policeman from 5 years old. So when I took charge as director of CID, it was deputy director of police for CID, CIU, and Interpol Affairs, which we did for some point in time, representing Liberia at the International Association of Chief of Police in Miami and other places. And at the end of the day, I realized I've lost that. And I still got the passion. I'm a fairly young guy. And I still have the passion to pass on to what I learned. I teach at the university now. I still want to make sure that we establish a system void of guesswork. Police work is nothing, it's a science, it's an exact science.
Okay.
If you apply it in a certain way, you affect the citizen that you're trying to protect. And if you apply it in a certain way, you under police the citizen, and then you have average fed and it becomes counterproductive.
One last question quickly. I know we are against time.
Yes, we have some time to break
I gotta
it back
go break my fast.
Yeah. Recently the president of Liberia traveled to the US, to the UAE, then to the US.
Yeah.
There were information that the president was undergoing, was invited by the CIA.
Oh, look at the guy. Go ahead, now listen.
Yes. So my question is, do you listen to that information? If you were privileged to hear that, what is your thought about it? What does it mean for the Liberian presidency?
You know, you can't guess. You can't start sitting between you and myself. That level of information is far above our pedigree. A pedigree to a certain extent. So to sit down and say and start.
Did you hear that he was invited by the CIA?
That's what we heard in the news and on the social media. But I'm telling you, I take this clearly though. Those kind of information and those kind of meetings, if it ever happen in the way in which we've been portrayed, I think it would be good for the country. It would be good for the president himself to have such exposure. But whatever it is, the president is a very smart guy and he holds his ground, I'm sure. So I would think I will fall the benefit of that to him for providing the adequate representation at that level, because to leave and go to those places and then you would have done good for your country. The president came who interviewed, he basically gave you the journalists what it was all about. I'm not at this point in time a businessman.
Okay. Yeah, thought on public safety quickly as we wind down. Time is now fine.
Public safety, yes.
What do you think?
Public safety is the largest department in the police force because everything we do in life has to do with safety as far as the police are concerned. Whether it's traffic, whether it's whether it's CSD, whether it's patrol, everything's bordered on public safety, providing safety net for the public. So for our country, the safety of our people has always been paramount and will always be paramount. But what has to be done now, considering the fact that, like I said, we're mixing the issue of security, public security there at a level, and then to election security.
Okay.
There has to be a lot of meeting of the mind. And a lot has to be done right now very fast. The few days, we're in April, May, June, July. By July, we should get hold of our crime rate.
Okay.
Okay, from August, September 9, our constitution is basically on election and all of this related demerit or merit. And that should be from July. From June, actually, this is April, May, June. The whole issue, we now should have a stable crime rate. The graph that goes up and down has to be stable. We now identified exactly what is the rate, what is the crime rate looking like. And then we know exactly what are our sources, what are the issues that will prompt our crime, and then look at particular people who basically we know that will trigger crime at different level. Then our constitution becomes now making sure that the issue of election violence, the election insecurity now is addressed and is identified, and we do a proactive approach towards election violence.
Colonel Abi Kurma, thank you very much for coming. We managed to squeeze you off your busy schedule, but we'll find some more time to bring you back here to go in detail of what we actually wanted you to do. We'll find some time to bring you back. Thank you so much for coming.
It's no, I'm not from my office right next door. It's not just that I have to rush to go to breakfast at this point in time.
Okay, folks.
Happy Ramadan to all of you guys.
Thank you. Yes, we're not taking any calls because of the time.
I know a lot of folks want to call right now.
Yes, but
what we'll do, I'm so off already, off air.
Yeah.
What we'll do, we will.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of Liberia and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Yo, I look in this view, I hope to see my country better. Ibakobaloba is the message that we offer. Equal right and justice, but my people still suffer. Okay, using the power to satisfy the desire.
And so on this notice, I would love to go home on today's edition of the program, The Hard Talk. Join us fresh next week. Have yourself a pleasant good day from Morovia. Bye-bye.
They are the law because people, because he's a lawmaker.